Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this press conference that we are starting right now. We're starting this press conference, and you're all welcome to the Dr. Isatou Political Bureau as an independent candidate for the 2016 presidential campaign election. First of all, just want to introduce to you Dr. Isatou will be available for your questions, and Mrs. Ramzia will also be available for your questions, so that we can clarify. The purpose of this meeting is to clarify to the media and the general public the purpose why Dr. Toure was not at the proposed national convention for the selection of a flag bearer for a unity candidate. This is something we want to make clear. To do that, we just want to put into context that the Dr. Isatou campaign was part of this process up to a particular point where there was a news blackout, which led to the absence of the committee, the campaign at the campaign. The document regarding those committees and the formation and the process for the convention was not received by Dr. Isatou for signature until the 30th of October 2016, that is yesterday, and that was the day after the convention. So this is the purpose of calling this press conference, to make clarification on some of the issues. You are all welcome. We'll prefer to know the media that is around at the moment. Can you kindly introduce yourselves?
Good afternoon. I am Jai Bambe, White newspaper.
My name is Keba J from Korean newspaper.
I am Mustafa Dabo, live for Talking News Agency. Talking News Agency.
My name is Lamin S. Dabo, by Africa TV.
You are all welcome. The people you see around are part of the ground team campaign for Dr. Isatou, and you are all most welcome. Dr. Toure.
Thank you very much, Ami, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you out there in the diaspora and in the Gambia and elsewhere. I am very pleased to give this press conference to the world all over to explain the process of the convention and why I was not present at that moment when it was convened. But before I go through the process, I already want to give the opportunity to one of my team members, who is Ramzia Diab, who I had delegated to be attending on my behalf and was reporting to me diligently and has been very effective in following the process to clarify the issue before I come in. Ramzia, the ball is in your court.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, press. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone out there in the diaspora and the world, those who are listening to us. To take the point from where Mrs. Bojang Sissoho and Mrs. Toure have said, I think it is prudent, after all what has transpired, for us to come out. It is only fair to the whole world and to Gambians who have been supporting our campaign diligently to know and to clarify what has happened, to know exactly the story behind this whole thing. Now, much as we have been committed to this coalition from the word go, since September, when I came in to join the campaign team, Dr. Toure has been committed, we have been committed in joining the coalition in order to effect change that everybody in the Gambia is yearning for today. Now we have attended all the coalition talks that have been called at Kairaba Hotel, together with Dr. Ture and Mrs. Mibojang Sisoho. There was only one of the meetings that Dr. Ture did not attend, but anytime she's not there, we are there. I am there to make sure that I come and report back to about the findings of the coalition. Now, when we went there, the first 3 steps that we were told was going to happen with this coalition, it was stated to us in the meeting that there are 3 options. The first option was going to be a party-led coalition. The second, if that doesn't work, the second option would be an independent-led coalition chosen from the political parties. And the third option was an independent-led coalition with members from the civil society. That was when we got up and asked the question, where does that place us? Are we part of this coalition or we are not part of this coalition? And it was made to us that we are part of the coalition because we have an independent candidate. Many times we've been there, Dr. Ture has made her presentation to the parties. She had asked them to give us a chance, to give her a chance that she was there as a facilitator. She was there to unite the opposition so that we can affect change. She had told them that she was not there for them to get rid of their parties, but she was there to make sure that we change our tactics, being that for the past 22 years, we have tried to have a coalition and it had not worked. So this time, she felt as an independent candidate, she should come out and ask them to give her their backing. She doesn't have a party, and she asked for 1 term of 5 years so that we will be able to have our reforms, we'll be able to have our constitution changed, and then she can go and retire gracefully. And now this was done several times. She had extended an olive branch to all of them, which they have listened to. But to cut a long story short, in the end, it was decided that we are going to have a coalition, and all the other parties who are interested in bringing their candidates should come out and do so. Whilst we were at these talks, other parties had been going on their campaigns to meet their electorate. Dr. Ture did not go for her campaign because she thought it was prudent for her to stay and wait to see the outcome of the talks. But when we saw that everyone had been going and time was getting late and nothing was concluded yet, she now said, I think it is time for me to go and meet the electorate, because the talk in the coalition was that they want to know who can pull a crowd. So if we had not done that also to show the people there that we can also, we have support, then her being there would not have been necessary in the first place. But what I want to state is we are committed, we were committed to this coalition. We were committed in having a unity government. One person that will lead the coalition, be the flag bearer, and have everyone behind that person. So Dr. Ture started her campaign, and I was left behind in order to attend and represent, together with our one other member of our team, Mr. Sidi Alami, to go and attend the talks. I have attended every single meeting of the coalition. On the 14th of October, we signed the press release. Dr. Ture was in the provinces, and I told them she had started her tour. I signed on her behalf, and that was a commitment to show that we were part of these talks, and we had to give it to the press to know that all of us have now agreed to sit down and discuss about the way forward and to get one flag bearer. After signing, that was before the signing was when GDC pulled out. So we continued the meeting. We tried to convince them. They left. We signed, and I called Dr. Toure at night after her campaign and told her that I had signed, and she was pleased about it. She said, okay, you can go ahead and go and attend the other meetings. So we have been going to the meetings. They have drawn up the draft agreement. We went through the draft agreement. They edited everything. We all looked at it as a group, and we started setting up the different committees. I was in charge. I was heading the Human Rights and Justice Committee. So every person that was made chair of a committee had to have representatives from every party, which we did. I presented my committee. I presented my paper. But going back a little bit, just after we signed the final agreement, we had a meeting with our team, both here and outside, to discuss about the agreement. Dr. Toure now sent me, because of the light problem and everything in the provinces, she had to email me some proposals of questions she wanted answered towards this coalition and before the date of the convention. And that proposal was made as a press release, which was out there in the media, in the social media. Now, after doing that, when I took that proposal, I was told by the committee that yes, we have seen the proposal. They all appreciated the proposal. They said it's a good proposal for our various committees because they are good questions. They are pertinent for this. I have had some members even call me after to give them more copies of this proposal, which I did. Okay, after all this, Dr. Toure's campaign ended on the 23rd. She arrived on the 23rd of, Sunday the 23rd of October. When we were signing the final agreements that had the various committees, that was the final document with the date of when the convention is going to take place and everything, the coordinator of the talks, which is Madam Fatmata Tambajang, stated that all representatives of the political parties should sign for their parties. There was a space for that, which I signed for the independent candidates. But then she said, for the presidential candidates that are going to come for election, they are the ones who should sign this final binding document themselves so that they can read through it and sign it. The only presidential candidate who was there at the time was Honorable Halifa Sallah. Halifa Sallah signed. Adama Barrow was not there. The others were not there. Hamad Bah had not arrived yet. So Madam Tambajang said she will make sure that she hand delivers these documents to the various presidential candidates for their to append their signature. So when Dr. Toure came, I briefed her, I briefed the campaign team about what had transpired, what is going on. She said, that's wonderful. Now the only thing left is for me to see the document and read it through. If I have any questions, I will still ask, and then I will see who signed, and if everybody has signed, then I will also append my signature so that we can move ahead and get this convention over and done with, because time is against us. Meanwhile, the next day, we had a meeting again at the YMCA. I stated to the coordinator, Madam Tambajang, that Dr. Toure is back. Today is Monday. She is in the office. I think you should call her so that she can sign this paper. If you can't go, maybe you can send a messenger or somebody to the office so that she can go through this before the date of the convention. Because I had already told her the convention, this is the data that had been set. So she wants to see the paper so that she can append her signature. She promised me that she will bring the paper. I came to the office later on and I asked Dr. Toure. Dr. Toure said to me, Madam Tambajang called me, yes, we had a long chat, but she had not told me anything about the paper. I said, oh really? She said, yeah. I said, okay, now let me call her again I called her whilst Dr. Ture was here to find out. She said, I will be there and I will bring it. I said, okay. The next day, the paper was still not here. The document was still not here to be signed. We went again to YMCA and I stated the same thing. I said, Dr. Ture is in the office and awaiting this document so that she can sign it, so that we will know our position, so we would know what we are going to do. Now, if we were not keen on doing that, I would not have asked all those questions, despite all the talk outside and the misinterpretations of what happened. Hence, we are here today to clarify. On Thursday, last week Thursday, we had a rally in Bakau. I went with Mrs. Amibojang Sisoro to IEC. We were invited to attend the inter-party committee talks and the MOU that was supposed to be signed by the inter-party committees. So we went there. When I came out, I put my phone on and I saw that Madam Tambajang had called me 3 times. So in front of Amibojang, I said, oh, Mrs. Tambajang has called me 3 times. I think she must have taken the documents to Dr. Ture. Let me call her. I called her, she was there, we were in the car. I said to her, and then she congratulated me on my paper for the human rights. She said, we read it yesterday, Samsar presented it on your behalf. I said, thank you very much. Are you calling me that you have taken the document? She said, no, I have not taken the document yet. I said, but Dr. Ture is in the office. She will be there till 6 o'clock today because we're having a rally in Bakau. She said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to for the meeting now, because we have the campaign committee for the convention, convention. And when I come out of there, if it's after 4, then I will make sure that I meet you people at the rally in Bakau. And when I come there, then maybe after the rally I can sit. I said, yes, you better do that because time is against us. And she promised to come there. We went for the rally. I relayed the message to Dr. Ture. We went to the rally. The coordinator was not there. The next day was Friday. We had our meeting in Katong. I called her again and I told her, the document, you did not come yesterday. And she said, I came there, but the rally was over. When I came, everyone had gone home. So I said, okay, we have a meeting today again in Katong. We are still in the office. Right now, I'm going there to meet Dr. Ture and the campaign team because we have to go through Birkama to go to Katong. She said, okay, I will be there. Nobody was here. No messenger was here. Nobody came. Now, we said, okay, hence this is what is happening. Let us go ahead and wait and see what they are going to say. And then she asked me again, she said, look, nevertheless, you have been going to the meetings. They have not brought this document, but please inform me about how it is going to take place. Who is funding this convention? How are we going to bring our delegates? Because we don't have the funds for it. And I said, I had mentioned it in the meeting about the funding of the delegates coming, and they have said that the committee, the GOFA, is going to fund the delegates that will be coming. She said, okay, then that's well and good. Let me wait for the documents. Friday again, we went to Katong, nobody. On Saturday, we were supposed to go to Jara Soma. We went to Brikama after the settle. That was when Dr. Ture handed me the phone. She said, this is Mrs. Tambajang on the phone, and she's asking about the delegates. So I want you to clarify what delegates are we taking. So I picked up the phone and I said to her, did you bring the document? She said, well, no, we didn't bring the document, but you know that tomorrow is the convention. I said, yes, we know that tomorrow is the convention, but the one who is supposed to append her signature on the document in order to be able to attend, to show that, yes, I have appended my signature, now we are committed, like every other person who had signed, the other presidential candidates, they have already received it and signed. How come we have not gotten ours? And she later admitted that, yes, that is my fault. I said, and then Dr. Ture took the phone again and said to her, well, now what do you want me to do at this 11th hour? I have not seen any document. We are waiting to go to Jara Soma. We have been waiting for more than a week since I arrived. Nobody has come. And then she said, okay, now what I'm going to do is this. I will call an emergency meeting of all the other members, and we see what we are going to do about this situation. And I will get back to you. So all up to the time we were in Brikama, we did not leave Brikama till 7:30 in the evening because of few hitches waiting to go to Jara Soma. And there was no call. I tried to make a call, but unfortunately her phone was off. To find out again, we are still waiting to hear from you. You said you will call an emergency meeting to tell us what happened. Nothing happened. So we said, okay. Dr. Ture said, then let us now go to our campaign, because the way I see it, it looks like maybe we are not wanted in this convention. And tomorrow, the first thing that is going to happen is for the people, for some people out there to say we refused. And that is exactly what happened. Let me finish. On Sunday, we were at the rally when I got a call from the press that you are not at the convention. What happened? So my take in all this is, if we are yearning for change, if we are talking about the process of democracy, there is good governance. If we are talking about good governance, I think it should start right with us. We feel that there was no, it was not done in a democratic vote. I thank you all, and I will hand over now to the presidential candidate herself to give you her take on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ramsey, for the clarifications. I would still want to, and I think everything is clearly spelled out since you have been representing me and you have been reporting to me diligently. I would also like to call Ami Bojang Sisoho to explain part of her engagement with the process, just to show how much commitment we have before I come in. Ami.
Thank you very much. What I want to explain here is that in terms of the process we have been through, we have realized that to bring in delegates, you need to know who. Already we knew that there was a number attached to it, that is 70 representatives altogether, and 10 from each region. What we did not know, and the information that we did not have, is who is going to pay for the people to come in, when they are coming, when is supposed to be their arrival day, when they arrive, where are they going to stay, who is going to lodge them, who is going to feed them during that period, where is the meeting going to take place. We had no information regarding that. So it was not possible for us to pick up a phone, to contact our people to say, can you come on this day, where, when, and how long you're going to stay. We had no information regarding that. So it was not possible for our people to be part of the process, because we did not get the information that was required to bring them over. So it was the day after, that was yesterday, that Madam Tambajan came into the office in the afternoon to bring in the document that was supposed to be for the convention to take place. And to remember that in that document, it was said that one of the committee on the National Convention Committee, led by Mrs. Tambajan, was to coordinate, organize, conduct, supervise, and give the content rules and prepare the budget and exercise direction and control over the fundraising, conduct sensitization with the stakeholders, so that they can also request for proposals to incorporate in the coalition building, and this was adopted, to be adopted before the 25th of October. We were not part of that information process. We did not get that information until yesterday, the 31st of October. The day after, that is when Mrs. Tambajan decided to bring the document to us. So it is misleading for people to rumor around the social media and give out the information that Dr. Toure pulled out of the convention. It is not a truth, it is not factual. We have to be careful. When we have information, please let us get the facts. This document was presented here in the presence of other people, not just one-to-one. It was presented to the Dr. Toure here in the presence of other people who we have evidence that they were here when it was being presented. How can you participate in something you do not have information on the details? One. Secondly, why would Dr. Toure have to sign a document after the convention has taken place, when this document was to prepare for the convention? These are very critical questions we have to ask. And why was it? Was it deliberate or was it not? We cannot say that now. What is important is to give the people the facts about what happened, why Dr. Toure was not at the convention. She did not get the information that required her to bring delegates to participate in the convention. Thank you very much. Dr. Toure.
Thank you very much, Ami, the campaign manager, and Ramzi Diab, for clarifying this issue as we move on to promote democracy in the Gambia. I just want to start first and foremost to remind ourselves of the premise of our various engagements to promote democracy in the Gambia. All of us want change. This is a common denominator that everybody in the Gambia, in the diaspora, and the world over want change, positive change for the Gambia. We all want reforms to restore democracy, respect for fundamental freedoms and human rights and strong institutions, and also to promote freedom of expression and respect for that. With regards to the convention, you have already heard from the actors from my camp with regards to ensuring that it happens. But what I want to say here now is that I did not opt out of the coalition. That's a premise I believed in, and that is why I came in. And when I came in, I did not form a party. What I formed was to make sure that we usher in a new and third republic that brings progress by building strong democratic instruments and institutions. With the current dispensation is lagging behind. Repealing the obnoxious laws that restrict our freedom and liberty, build always prevail in their choices of leadership. And with that goal that I believe in, together with the people, I decided to engage. And when I engaged, it was not for myself, it was for the country, it was for the people, on the fact that democracy has been destroyed in the Gambia and that freedom of expression has been completely out of the way, and many other issues that are affecting every individual Gambians and the institutions, the failure of the institutions. That is why I came. And I wanted to come out and set standards. Setting standards mean starting from ourselves as leaders who are aspiring to bring in a third republic that will be based on principles of democracy, transparency, accountability, inclusivity. This was why I came in. When I came in to join the opposition to ensure that we remove the current dictatorship in the Gambia, I came with an olive branch, like my colleague Ramzi said, for us to work in unity, together, to be able to achieve this singular goal, pragmatic goal of removing this so that the Gambia regains its dignity and integrity in the community of nations, so that the Gambia will be able to bluff off a young generation that are going to take leadership and responsibility in the future, creating an enabling environment for them. Now, let us look at what happened during the process. I have, in many ways, tried to present issues that were emerging on PowerPoint. I have not shared them with the people, the public, because I felt it was an internal matter and it was important that we thrash them out, because it's all about promoting good governance and dealing with the process and ourselves as leaders who want to move the Gambia from this current situation that we are in. I decided to pick every concern that was brought in and put it on PowerPoint and shared it with all of them. Like my colleague said, I did it 3 times. I did the first presentation why I am out, so that I will convince and allay any fear that I have come to tell them to abandon their parties or to abandon their principles. But I said we have to change our strategies and tactics to be able to move the Gambia forward. I did that. I came the second time during that meeting. I presented and there were comments. I went back. When I came back on the third time, I came with everything that they suggested, which I felt were very critical and important, and also responding to the needs and their fears, to allay the fear as to move the process further. In that presentation, I brought in all the concerns, and it was on that day when I did that presentation that it became quite clear and glaring to me that I was an unwelcome guest. What happened? I was sidelined, I was marginalized, I was discriminated, but that did not affect me, because I felt I have come to join this space to move democracy for the people, with the people and with them. But I felt it. They discussed, I was not considered, but I took time to remain in the meeting until everything was over and I was given a second chance to talk. I talked, I explained that I am available, I am still an option, they can rely on me, and I'm still an option that they can trust, and we are here to move the country, not our selfish interests. That is why I came out as an independent candidate in order to promote the will of the people, not our own will, but the will and concerns of the Gambian citizens, both within and in the diaspora. This is why I came. Now, what happened? My engagement was about setting the standards in preparation for a new dispensation for the Third Republic. And what happened? When that happened, I realized that I was not being recognized within that space, and I didn't want to share it. But what I did was, I said I can understand. It's the same trust for the past 22 years that has been going on, the lack of trust between the parties. And now that I have come, it's the same feeling that is being transferred on me. I felt, let me just allay their fears once more and continue. And I told Ramsey, since we have done all these efforts and we are not coming to consensus, I know it's a process, it takes time, it's a very difficult moment. You will be responsible for attending these meetings, and we have to go, because I've been reminded that let's see who pulls the crowd. You know, these are issues that were coming in and out, and I don't want to say much of the dynamics because it's not important, it's not political maturity, it is not about anything. I just want to explain the process, and I decided to say that since this is this way people are thinking, let me go out also and meet the populace. I went out, very successful campaigns, very well attended, issues where I was dealing with issues and calling them to understand and giving them hope, because the whole country is now in a dire strait, and they need hope. They need all this for them to enliven them, for us to move further, and that was what I was doing. Now, during that process, it doesn't mean that, and it didn't mean that we were not engaged in the coalition building. But like my sisters rightly said, I was kept in darkness. Ramsey did a lot of efforts. Ramsey gave out a lot of, made a lot of reaching out. But Mrs. Fatmata Tambajang, for one reason or the other, was not forthcoming. I have realized the type of camaraderie that was going on during the process I was there. I realized that the warming up was not towards me, but it was within and among them. So I decided to go out and do. So what I'm trying to say is here, we are all working towards the same direction. We want to change the regime, this dictatorship. we want to move on, we want to bring hope, we want to promote democracy, we want to this thing. But it was unfair and undemocratic, lack of transparency in the process, that I was marginalized for not being part of this process, because I have attended, I have participated, I have given all it takes to make it happen. But there was a deliberate attempt, a deliberate effort for me to be completely excluded, despite all the efforts that were done. As regards the funding, I don't know anything about the funding, and there is nowhere where there was transparency in sharing what funds came. There was no transparency, and I don't know. I was waiting to receive documentations from Ramsey and those who have attended to ensure that we are able to see where we can bring in our input to be able to facilitate the process. And I just want to make sure that, tell you that, having done that, for you to have done a convention in which I should have been part of, and then after the convention, for you to bring the document that is supposed to legitimize my participation and participation of our constituency within that process, in itself tells you a lot, that we are not promoting good governance. We are not respecting transparency and accountability. We are not allowing, and this is not why I am out. I want a Gambia that will promote all the fundamentals of democracy in the country for things to happen, but not what is happening now. Now, if we are going to start with this, it's a non-starter. It's a non-starter, because we want to change things towards the positive direction. And yes, I'm a technical person, true, but I am guided by basic principles and the tenets of democracy, that we should start from us, who are trying to replace a dictatorship, who is not respecting any of those tenets. But if we ourselves are involved in it, how are we going to do? So what is there for us is, the best way out is, I cannot make any decision at the moment. I have to go back to the people. I have to discuss with them. The consultation processes go on. The options are open. And let's see how we move on from now. But I want to tell the world out there that all these efforts that are being done in misrepresentation to the social media by some of the opposition parties and individuals who have made it their point of duty to bandy around information that misrepresent the current situation in the Gambia that is happening, for the people to go into the social media and start making that type of different forms of statement, I am not bothered, honestly, because I know I am on the ground, and I know my conscience is clear. I know I am doing the right thing from a very technical and professional point of view, respecting all the tenets that I stand up. If you go up into the website and what I wrote in my manifesto, that these smear campaigns that are going on does not tell well on the country and on the process of democracy. And you are also campaigning on his or her behalf, putting pressure on our families and our colleagues and acquaintances for them to put pressure on Isatou and her team and other members of Isatou's team to succumb to tell Isatou, we have now chosen this one, you have to agree. Where are we going, Gambians? Where are we going? Are we going to put Gambia in another trouble or in another situation that we cannot address? I am not out here for that. I am here to help the Gambia. Together we can make it, to move it towards the right direction, learning from the lessons and the past lessons of this current dictatorship, to be able to get Gambia on the right footing, on the right pedestal, where we will be respected among the community of nations, where whatever we plan is not going to be ad hoc. And the fundamental question I want to ask is, if we ourselves are not living examples of what we talk about or what we use as justifications to discredit the current regime, how can we guarantee that we will be better? This is a question that everybody should ask yourself. I am here to help the Gambia move, and I appeal to the people out there who are listening to me. It's not about opposition or party. It is now about the fate of the Gambia and Gambians. What is it in it? You have your party. Why do you have to resign to become an independent just to lead when there is already an independent who has come to join you to move on? Why am I marginalized? What have I done? We have actually spoiled everything, all the principle of democracy in this convention. So what is it there that we can tell the world if from the onset, the process that is supposed to lead to building the nation in itself is flawed? Gambians and those out there. So I want to urge all of you for us not to go within with this feeling of the desire for change, but the change, what direction is this change going to take? How do we want it? Where do we want to go? Do we want to just say, yes, we have changed today, and the next day, what next? Let us ask ourselves those fundamental questions. And it is those questions I'm going to leave with you, that I am still committed with promoting democracy, salvaging the Gambia, and supporting all efforts that will move this Gambia from the current situation to a better and viable democracy, and not only change, and change for what? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ture. We have questions. If you have a question, announce your name, where you come from, and the question you want to ask.
Thank you very much. My name is Keba Jeffang from Foreign Newspaper.
Okay.
Thank you for putting forward your part. I have a couple of questions, including number one, do you feel in any way you were insisting to become a flag bearer that led to your marginalization? That's number one. Number two, did you receive any apology, as you alleged, from the source of this document particularly?
Whether I received any?
Any apology, as you alleged? And also, you said in your statement that you did not pull out. Is there any way for you to come back? Thank you.
Thank you. I have not been insisting. It's not about insistence. And I can understand coming from Foria. The question, the question is very apt, like you asked, because I am a contender in my own rights as a Gambian, qualified, technical, and able to move the Gambia forward. So I am not insisting. I presented myself like any other party member that has the right to be part of the process. It's not like insisting. It is like coming in at the right time to salvage the country after it has gone for over 22 years of suffering as a result of the lack of coming together of the oppositions. Question number two, I don't understand when you talk about apologies, because if an act is deliberate, I don't think there is need for apology, because you know this is a very important and critical moment, an act that needs to be done, and you knowingly know that it is important. You decided to knowingly absolve or push or sideline or marginalize or discriminate against one of the actors. What apology is there when the die is cast? I did not pull out. I did not pull out, and I think if you listen carefully to almost all the three presentations that were made by us, it has been clearly spelled out. So I don't think I need to respond to this question.
So are you going back?
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to ask. I have two questions.
Introduce yourself.
I am Mustafa Dava. I introduce myself initially. I write for the Standard. I have a blog online, and I also write for Talking News Agency. I wanted to know what you meant by the fact that every decision is open for now. I mean, does that simply mean that you could join the coalition, or you can decide to go it alone? Because you did say you are going to take it back to the people. That's the first question. The second one is from your speech and from the speech of your colleagues, I came to the understanding that Madam Fatma Tambajan did not give you the document that we were supposed to sign on time, which technically led to what has happened. But I am looking at it from the perspective of somebody who is passionately, as you said, fighting to quote-unquote salvage his country. Should you take it as a responsibility, as if you like, to also send somebody or send for the document if the person involved cannot bring you the document, if the Gambia that matters to you that much?
Thank you very much. I think you have asked some very questions. You have answered yourself in the first question when you said you are going back to the people. That's my answer. I'm going back to the people. That's my answer, period. Now, when you talked about my enthusiasm about the change and the salvation of the Gambia, together with all of you, I think if you listen carefully to Ramzie Diab and the efforts that she has made, does not leave any stone unturned as to what we have done. With all the options that we are given, we have done. And the fact that we have asked even can we come to collect, she said she is going to do it by herself. What can we do when she is in custody of those documents? Of course, I am very enthusiastic, very much into it, and we have done everything that we could. But it was a premeditated action, maybe, I don't know. But we can do what we can do. You've listened to Ramsey and you've heard what she said. I think that's enough.
Can I have a follow-up?
No, number three.
Before you comment, this one follow-up.
Okay. Yes, please.
I am Jai Balde, the Point newspaper. Doctor, thank you very much for clarifications. One thing I need to know is now the flag bearer has been already selected. Is he, and what is your decision? Are you going to stand for yourself?
That question has also been, as I said, I'll go back to the people, and my options are open. I've not made any decision yet. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, still a follow-up. You said you are going back to the people. How do you think people can decide this?
In a democracy, you have to get the people's opinion. You also have to engage them. You don't take unilateral decisions, just like what has happened in the convention. Because I was trying to allow the process to do flow of process of freedom of information and access to information. But that did not happen. So I'll have to go back to them and find out.
So you meet them and engage?
Yes, my options are open, like I said. It's open.
In the lead up to politics, I mean, politics is about mood. And I've seen most Gambian people are interested more in unity, coalition, than they are in individual leadership. Maybe I should rectify myself to say opposition supporters than say most Gambians. So, do you not think it might be a betrayal of the cause that you standing for to go it alone than making a compromise and joining your colleagues even when they are wrong?
Indeed, you have answered your question, and I just want to make it clear. I didn't tell you anything alone. I said my options are open. Don't put words into my mouth. I said the options are open, and I'm going to consult the people. What I decide will depend on the data and information I have gathered. Number two, with regards to, even though they are wrong, this is why the Gambia is at the position they are right now. I am disappointed that even though they are wrong as a journalist, even though, yes, in court, whether in court or not, even though they are wrong, is why the Gambia is at this situation. And that is why all of you are suffering, we are suffering, and others are suffering. The fact that anything that comes goes because we want a unity candidate is wrong, fundamentally. When you choose your leaders, you have to choose leaders who can deliver, who can move the country, and who can bring integrity and dignity to the people. But because They are wrong, and there is a wrong premise. The fact that at the beginning the premise of this convention is wrong and flawed affects everything. Is that the type of Gambia you want, or is that the type of governance you are promoting? I am not. And I hope that Gambians who know the implications of that will not go into it. We are at a crossroad, and we will definitely go ahead in promoting good governance, in promoting the setting of standards for the Gambia to get out of this. In as much as there is a lot of exuberance, there is a lot of anxiety, there is a lot of feeling of wanting to have this change happen, it happens as a process and not as one-off. That's where mistakes happen, and that's why we take anything that comes, that goes. That's why we are getting the wrong people, the wrong process, and the wrong institutions. Thank you.
Any other final comment? Yes?
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. My name is Lamin AFF Esdabo from the iAfrica TV. Doctor, can you kindly share with the general public the latest proposed date that you will release your final decision after meeting the people? Because hence we were informed that next week is going to be the beginning of the nomination. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I am going ahead with the nomination. I am going ahead with the nominations. It's a process, and the process continues. At the appropriate time, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Okay. This is the last one, please. We have another.
I am Musa Sane from The Voice newspaper. And despite what happened, Doctor, you still maintain that you are part of the opposition coalition. In that case, I want to ask you this question. Do you accept, Adama Barrow as the flag bearer of the coalition that you're saying you are part of?
Technically, you know that I have been out of it. So technically, ask yourself, you can answer to that question.
Okay. Thank you very much for the questions. And once again, we thank you for your interest and for the interest we all have in moving the Gambia forward in a democratic, sustained process where we respect the dignity of the person and to ensure that whatever we're going to do should be sustained for the future generations to realize that this is the best we can offer for the Gambia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay.